Is your name written in the book of life? Now, that's a very serious question. And it's actually at the heart of a song that's been more than 40 years in the making. A song I call There's Still Time. I originally wrote this song sometime in the early 80s when I was still in college. And it was based on a poem that a friend of mine gave me called What If It Were True? And the poem told the story of a man who was simply too busy for God, too busy to pray, too busy to tell others about Christ, too busy to help someone in need. And eventually, there was no more time. And that idea really impacted me. And so I turned the poem into a song. And throughout the song, the same thought kept coming back. No time, too much to do. But there was something about the original song that bothered me for years. You see, the theology wasn't right. At the end of the poem, the man stands before God. God looks into the book of life and can't find his name. And then God tells him, I once was going to write it down, but I never found the time. In other words, the man had been too busy for God. And in the end, God had been too busy for him. That's why it's called What If It Were True? But that's not the God we find in Scripture. God doesn't forget us. He isn't too busy for us. He knows us completely. So when I came back to this song about a year ago, 40 years later, I wanted to keep the heart of the original story, but I needed the message to reflect what Scripture actually teaches. And so that brought me to one of the most sobering things Jesus ever said. In Matthew 7, Jesus says, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. And a few verses later, he says, depart from me. I never knew you. That's when the message of the song became clear to me. The problem wasn't that God had been too busy for the man, but the man had been too busy for God. He had spent his life saying the right things, perhaps even calling Jesus Lord, but had never truly given him his heart. And that's where one of the most important lines in the rewritten song came from. You look the part, you call me Lord, but your heart was never mine. Because it's possible to know about Jesus without truly knowing him. It's possible to say hurried prayers, go to church, tithe, know Scripture, even call Jesus Lord. And yet, Jesus' words force us to ask a deeper question. Does he have my heart? There's nothing wrong with working, paying bills, raising a family, and having a busy life. The danger comes when our relationship with God never becomes more than a tradition or something we continually tell ourselves we'll get serious about someday. No time, too much to do, maybe tomorrow, maybe when life slows down. But eventually, there will be no more time. Now, I didn't want the song to end there because the gospel isn't simply a warning, it's an invitation. And that's why in the rewritten song, it says, thank God, there's still time to change. He has not passed you by. And so that brought me to Romans 10, which says, if you declare with your mouth, Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Notice there are two things, your mouth and your heart. It's more than simply saying the right words. It's believing, it's trusting, it's giving your life to Christ. That's why the bridge says, just calling him Lord is not enough. He looks past words and sees your heart. Turn your heart while there's still breath. Come to him. Don't wait for death. There's still time. And I also changed the ending. Earlier in the song, we see the man standing before God when he hears your name I cannot find. But now, after you've truly followed the Lord, the song returns to the same scene one more time. Only now everything is different. He calls your name. It's written in the book. Forgiven of your sin. And then come the words that we all long to hear someday. Well done, my faithful one. Come now, my child, and enter in. So let me come back to the question I asked at the beginning. Is your name written in the book of life? If you spent your life knowing about Jesus without ever truly giving your heart to him, don't put it off. If you're hearing this today, you can still turn to him. You can still call upon his name. You can still put your faith in Jesus Christ. And as long as you have breath, there's still time. I hope you'll listen to this song. But more importantly, I hope you'll think about the question behind it. Is your name written in the book of life?